I was about to start. What's up, baby?
Cool.
Did you need me? Okay. Hey everybody, this is Evan Rogers coming at you with JLPT N4 listening. We are on the second question, which is like the fourth video because they had a bunch of instructions and yada yada yada. I'm here to remind you to hit the like button, share, subscribe, check out Facebook where I've been posting NHK headlines, the translations of those headlines. Also, I'm doing that on my Reddit. The subreddits r/EvansEasyJapanese. And there, after months of posting there daily on my part, I finally got someone to make a comment on one of the posts, and it was by Peema-kun. It's either Peema-kun or Peema-kun. Peema-kun. Hi! I told you I'd call you out. In all the video link descriptions, please consider a way to, maybe a donation of some sort. If through Subscribestar and Patreon, you get some rewards for encouraging to keep making these videos. Let's get on with it. Oh.
2番
2番, here we go.
教室で先生が学生に話しています。
There's nothing too new here, but I do want to make sure we know how the ni particle is operating here. So hanashitemasu just means is talking. There's nothing too tricky about this translation. The subject is sensei ga. So in the classroom, a teacher is talking. And notice they chose the ni particle, which is sort of they're talking to somebody. The to particle could come there if it were like talking with somebody, more like a consultative, having a conversation feeling. I made a video I think it was in the JLPT N5 videos where we talked about how the ni particle oftentimes means the other person. It was like sexy soap operas or something, I think I titled that video. Anyway, let's keep going.
学生は工場で何を作っているときに見学をしますか?
Alright, 学生は工場で at a factory. The students at a factory 何を作ってるときに when they are making what? So 作ってる is going into the noun toki. Once again, we have verbs modifying nouns, clauses modifying nouns. At the factory making what is modifying when at that time. So at the time of when they're making what? Kengaku o shimasu ka? They will be sightseeing. So what will when they're making something at a factory? So the question's very odd to try to translate in English. It translates to as for the students, they'll be going on a sightseeing tour when they're making what at a factory. Very odd question, but the entire conversation can fit if I zoomed out to the 550 level. So let's go ahead and go sentence by sentence. I think they have like a 10-sentence break here. Oh, that's right. We have to check out what the questions are. We have juice, ice cream, candy, or cookie. Those are all katakana, and they are all exactly the words they sound like. So, no, let's not spend much more time on that. Here we go. Oh, where'd the audio go? There we go.
来週はクラスで工場の見学に行きます。
Alright, so 来週は as for next week, cross de, as for class, or through the class, for class, something like that. 工場の見学に行きます. We will go to the sightseeing, a factory sightseeing. So 工場 is the factory, and it's modifying kengaku. What, sightseeing? Maybe not sightseeing. What's the phrase? A field trip. There we go. That's the idea. The field trip. We're going to be going on a field trip to a factory, basically, is what they're saying here.
ジュースで有名な会社の工場ですが
Okay, so juice de, via juice. This is the via idea of de. So via juice, 有名な会社. So a company that is famous via juice no kojo de. So it is a factory of a company that is famous for juice. It is a factory that's famous for juice, but... This is either a real but or a Japanese but. Here we go.
アイスクリームやキャンディー、それからクッキーも作っているんですよ。
Okay, so they're famous for their juice, but, so this is a real but, ice cream ya candy. The ya particle here is making a list of nouns that is not, we're not listing everything. It means and, but we're not stating and every single thing that they make. So they make things like ice cream and candy, sorekara cookie, and things like cookies. This sorekara is simply there to function similarly to ya. Normally it means and from that, but here it's just bouncing off the ya to bring about the idea of and even things like this. So, mo tsukutte iru n desu yo. Okay, so the mo, they do the even this. So it's a factory that's famous for making, it's a factory of a company that's famous for juice, but it's ice cream and things like candy and even cookies as well. This mo is like, your regular mo particle, as well as tsukuteru, be making. Des, I'm explaining to you. We've done this in the past videos numerous times. If you don't recognize this, this is called the explanatory no. We have a verb in front of it, so there's no na. And you might be asking, why isn't it a no if I just called it a no? It's because, one, he's being distal polite, so he's saying des afterwards, but it could also be nda, so that's not even a good explanation. When you're speaking, the n comes out, and nda is frequently what happens. It is that they make things like this as well. Okay, so here we go.
本当はジュースを作るときに見学したかったんですが、
Okay, so 本当は in reality ジュースを作るときに when so okay okay, so let's okay. 本当は translates for in reality. ジュースを作るときに when apparently the subject here is they make juice 見学したかったんですが I wanted to field trip with them or sightsee with them. And this sentence here clarifies the question. So usually when you have a wa particle here, the subject of all the clauses are whatever that wa particle is. But here they're like, nah, screw that. So this is as for the students, when will they sightsee / field trip? And the kojo de doesn't mean what will the students be making at the factory. It's almost like what will the factory, what will the people at the company, what will the company be making via the factory when they visit? This is the dumbest question. This is very horribly written, if you ask me. This doesn't quite communicate what the question actually is. I don't like this question. Anyway, so the actual question now that we've heard what they're saying is, as for the students, they will be taking their field trip there or sightseeing there at the point of when the company is making what at the factory. Not what will the students be making, but what will the company be making. And once again, Japanese is like, screw it, we don't want to tell you the subject. You have to imply it via no information whatsoever. I mean, it says, this is stupid, like the teachers and the students are talking, and as for the students, apparently we're inserting the random subject of company in here, the company. So this is a horribly written question. I hate whoever wrote it. 本当はジュースを作るときに見学したかったんですが I wanted to visit them when they were making juice, but
来週はジュースは作られていないそうなので、皆さん
excuse me, I went too far on the audio. Okay, so here we have some grammar that is going to be important to listen. 来週は as for next week, ジュースはas for juice, 作られていないそうなので oh my goodness, this is hardcore. Okay, You have a lot of grammar to unpack here. Luckily for you, I have made a video on the passive. So if you go to my channel and you click on the videos and there's like a little search bar, type in passive and you'll find the video that I made on passive. It was numerous years ago. This is the passive form of the verb. This is tsukurimasu, tsukuru, tsukurareru. So tsukuru is a group 1 verb, and so we have to apply these group 1 verb passive rules to it, which are in that video. I'll try to remember to add a link to this video. Hopefully I'm listening during the edit phase and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I gotta do. So all group 1 verbs end in a consonant u sound, and that consonant changes. We have iku, kiku, kaku, so they end in kus. We have sus like hanasu, or I don't know, the other hanasu. There's numerous hanasus, whatever. We have sus like tatsu or katsu. And anyway, what you do is you take that consonant and the sound and you add the ah sound to it, kind of like you're making a negative. So tsukuranai, we have tsukura, and then we add reru, tsukurareru. Ikareru, kakareru, yomareru, things like that. Yomu, yomareru, kaku, kakareru, kiku, kikareru, yobu, yobareru. And believe it or not, shinu, to die, shinareru, can have a passive, but it doesn't function like the passive, but it has that form. Anyway, there's also group 2 rules and group 3 memorizations, and the special polite verbs need to be memorized as well. But anyway. This is the passive. So as far as juice is concerned, it won't be made at that time. It won't be being made. Okay, so juice wa tsukurarete nai. So notice how the verb normally is tsukuru, which is to make, but tsukurarete iru, well, tsukurareru is to be made. So the subject and the object flipped. I make juice. Juice is made by me. Do you see how there's that flip there? I eat cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers are eaten by me. If we keep the word order the same, we actually end up with a crazy sentence. I eat cheeseburgers. I am eaten by cheeseburgers. So that you see how if we keep the subjects the same, we end up with the opposite meaning. I eat cheeseburgers. I am eaten by cheeseburgers. So you see, the thing that's being eaten shifts with the passive. So anyway, this is raishu wa. As for next week, juice wa, at least juice tsukuraretenai, will not be made. The juice will not be made. The so here after an e adjective, it's a verb, but it's an e adjective. Negative verbs are all e adjectives. The so here is a nominal that we add to after verbs. Once again, we have a verb / e adjective modifying a noun, and it translates to it would seem like, it seems as though juice at least will not be made, at least for next week. So lots of at leasts happening in the sentence. Honto wa juice o tsukuru toki ni kengaku shitakatta n desu ga, raishu wa juice wa tsukurarete nai. So nanode minasan wa ice cream. So we have, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 was in this sentence. Welcome to hell. One more thing I want to talk about the passive. Every passive verb turns into a group 2 verb. So iku turns into ikareru, and the passive is ikarete. So you see, we're just adding the te to we're replacing the final ru with a te, and that's a group 2 thing that happens. So any verb you start off with goes into the passive form. It ends up as a group 2. So this is one way to turn all, it changes the nature of the verb. Okay, so tsukurarete nai. So once again, we have the nanode. So is a noun. So in front of this no de here is very similar to the ndes. Remember, I told you that this ndes could be a no. Well, here it actually is a no. So this is interesting because you might have learned that no de means because, and it does. Because of this, the following is true. Because of the previous information, the following is true. But if you think about that, because literally has the word be and cause in it. So it is that. Almost is the same. It's that. So like I translated here, it's that I wanted to do something. It's that they will be making other stuff as well. Raishu wa jusu wa tsukurarete nai so nanode, being that it's that they, if we translate, because des would be it is that, the no de turns it into being that. So being that it seems like juice will not be made at least for next week, and that translates to a because idea. Being that, what I'm trying to communicate to you right now, and it seems confusing, and it is because I'm doing this all on the fly and I don't want to do an hour-long presentation. This ndes is exactly the same thing as the no de thing that you might have learned. This means because, and so kind of like does ndes and the no des that you're familiar with, that has suddenly appeared in the N4 section. So if you're familiar with no de, you can translate this as this de as being the te form of des or da, which would be being, and then the no is the nominalization of the clause, being that all this stuff is true. All of this stuff is true. In the same way here, kuki mo tsukutteru no desu. It's that they make cookies as well. So it's the same grammar. It's the same grammar. This no is the same thing as this n. The de is the te form of the da, which is des, and the plain form, blah, 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 blah. Ask questions. Ask questions in the video thing. Peema-kun, are you listening? Ask a question. Say, Evan, why are you bald? And I will answer it. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. We got Minasan coming up. Here we go. So being that they won't be making juice next week, basically is what he's saying. The wa particle adds emphasis in different areas, but that's basically what he's saying.
いないそうなので、
Okay, sorry. I rounded too far. Here we go.
皆さんはアイスクリームを見ることになりました。
In the last video, we talked about koto ni shimashita, and I went on a whole rambling discussion about transitivity and how shimas and narimas are the same verb to an extent. Guess what just happened? We got koto ni narimashita on this one. Okay, koto ni narimashita. Let's just really do the rest real quick. Minasan wa, as for everyone, ice cream o miru koto ni narimashita. Okay, so ice cream o miru. We will watch ice cream. Just that simple. Hey guys, what do you want to do today? Hey, let's go to the movies. No, let's go, to the mall and pick up chicks. No, let's go to the pool and watch the babes in the bikinis. No, guys, let's watch ice cream. That's the kid that got kicked in the head when he was young, unfortunately. Anyway, poor that guy. He wants to watch. This teacher is going to make his students watch ice cream. The sentence itself literally means we're going to watch ice cream. In context, it means we're going to be watching how ice cream is made. So just be aware of that. Okay, so that's the clause, minasan wa ice cream o miru. And it is going directly into koto, which turns it into a noun. It's a nominalizer. I like to call it nounification. The koto nounifies what comes before it. So miru koto turns into like the seeing. Ni narimashita. It becomes the seeing. That makes sense in English, right? It becomes the seeing. That clearly doesn't make any sense. So I told you in the previous video that it might just be best to memorize this as a set grammar point. Koto ni suru means we decided to do something, or we decided to make something happen, or we decided to make something a certain way, or even just the idea of we made something a certain way. So like we made him, we made the food delicious. We made the kitchen clean. Things like that can be koto ni suru, or the idea of ni suru is the idea of make something a certain way. Or it can also be koto ni suru is usually with to decide on something. And if you remember in the previous video, I also said that koto ni naru is basically the same thing, but it's intransitive. And I gave the example that in the same way that we opened the door, we get the sentence, we made a decision. Whereas with the koto ni naru, that would be the koto ni suru. And then with koto ni naru, in the same way we get the door opens, we get the idea of decisions are made. Do you see that? Open the door. We open the door. we made a decision. There's an object there. We do something. It's transitive. We're acting on an object. The door opens. It just does it by itself. Or like we're describing the door almost. The door opens the same way that a decision is made. We're not really saying who did it. So decisions make. Decisions, it's so difficult to do in English because we don't really have an intransitive idea of make. But that's what's happening here. If you could kind of sort of vaguely see how that is transitive in nature, it'll open a lot of doors. Just think about, like, sit there and meditate for a while. If you're not quite getting it, just sit there and meditate for a little while, and you'll get example after example over time, and you'll sleep, drink a bunch of water, sleep, get lots of sleep, and you'll start to find your brain making these jumps in your head. It's interesting because when you start learning this stuff, you're like, it doesn't make any sense, oh my god. And then like you sit there and think, and you have some sexy bald man explain, just say something like, we opened the door, we made a decision, the door opens, the decision is made. And in a weird way, it'll, after you sleep a few nights, it'll start coming to you. Anyway, this is saying it has been decided by no one's decision that you'll be watching how ice cream's made. All right, that is a long sentence. Look how long the sentence is. If you're able to listen to this and catch it, this might be the longest sentence you've ever heard. I'm not sure what your listening programs are like, but 本当はジュースを作るときに見学したかったんですが、来週はジュースは作られてないそうなので、皆さんはアイスクリームを見ることになりました。Let's count, just for fun, let's count how many verbs or even verbs, like English idea of what a verb is. Not the Japanese verbs, but like an English idea of a verb, okay? Let's just have fun with this. 本当はジュースを作る 1. 時に見学したい 2. Des, it's that. We could call this maybe not really an English verb, but we can also call it a verb. It's that. So we'll put 2 definite and 1 in parentheses. 来週はジュースは作られてない. This is definitely a third one with a leftover one. いないそうだ. It seems that way. I think we have to call that a fourth. なので being that. We could. That's sort of an iffy number 2. So we got 4 and a 2. 皆さんはアイスクリームを見る. That's a fifth one with a leftover 2. ことになりまして. It's sort of, it has been decided. We got 6 like real English verbs happening in there with possibly 2 more depending on how you want to take it. Welcome to a single crazy bootied run-on sentence. Japanese people love run-on sentences, and you got to start getting used to them. In reality, when they're making juice is when I wanted to go there. It is that I wanted to go there when they were making juice. However, next week it would appear that they are not making at least juice. And being that, because of that, everyone is going to see ice cream. It has been decided. That's one sentence in Japanese. This is welcome to run-on sentences being acceptable. Remember when your teacher told you don't use run-on sentences? Japanese people are like, hold my beer, I'm going nuts. All right, let's listen to the last sentence of this guy rambling.
見学の後、クッキーのお土産がもらえるそうです。
All right, now we're introducing the potential. Kengaku no ato, after the sightseeing, the field trip. Kuki no omiyage, a treat. A souvenir is generally how we translate this, but it doesn't have to be a souvenir. It can just be a gift to somebody. Notice the ga particle going into moraeru. Evan, what's moraeru? That's fine if you don't know that. This is morao. This is the potential form of moraimasu, morao, moraeru. Okay, so group 1 verbs, we flip it to the S sound. We take the plain form morau, and that last u or ku or su or tsu or nu or mu or bu or all the rest of them. There's a ru too. Those get switched to their corresponding e sound followed by a ru. So moraeru, morao, moraeru, iku, ikeru, kiku, kikeru, hanasu, hanaseru. tatsu, tateru, shinu, shineru, it can die, yobu, yoberu, we can call yomu, yomeru. So that's the pattern for group ones. Notice they end in eru, and the past tense would be eta, and the te form would be ete. These are also every potential able to do verb is a group 2 verb. So once again, every passive verb is a group 2, and every potential verb is a group 2, including dekimasu, dekiru. So all of them are group 2s. This is interesting. When we agglutinate verbs, we actually can change what verb group they're in. So that's odd. It's very strange. So iku is a group 1, ikeru is a group 2. Iku is a group 1, ikareru is a group 2. Same verb idea, different mood, changes the verb grouping. So very intriguing how this works in Japanese. So after the trip, kuki no omiyage ga moraeru. Moraeru is able to receive. So morao is to receive. Moraeru is able to receive. Hey, Evan, if you're able to receive a treat cookie, a souvenir cookie, why is it a ga particle? Why is it that wouldn't this mean that the cookie is receiving something? The cookie is able to receive something? That would make sense in English. Or you have to argue that the ga particle doesn't always mean subjects, which many textbooks will teach you. I want to force your brain to keep thinking about that as a subject. Okay, so time out. Most textbooks, ga means subject most of the time, but in situations like this, it just, sometimes it's not always a subject. I think Tai Kim I think he has an entire article, ga isn't a subject marker. I fully appreciate the argument that ga is not always a subject marker. I disagree, and I want to make my case here. Verbs and adjectives have so much in common. I do not think that it's crazy that we should maybe consider that this is almost an adjective, and we're describing a cookie. As for cookie souvenirs, they are can receive. They are in the status of able to be received. They are in the status of able to receive. So as for cookies, one can receive them. Does that make sense? Cookies are receivable in a weird way. If you literally take receive and add able to it, it's an adjective. So cookie souvenirs, and then that would be the subject. If we start off a subject like that, if we start off a sentence like that with that noun, it's a subject. Cookie treats or cookie souvenirs are receivable. I would love. I want to posit that to Tai Kim and all the people out there who say that ga isn't a subject marker. I feel like it is a subject marker, in many cases. Anyway, moraeru, and then we end it with so desu, which is it seems like it sounds like you can receive some cookies. Now notice when I flip it to English, I say you can get cookies, because that's how English operates. But I think the Japanese more literal idea is that the cookies are receivable. Anyway, then they ask the question again.
学生は工場で何を作っているときに見学をしますか?
This is such a weird question. 何を作っているときに Subject is kaisha. And when you first ask sorry, let me just rant a little bit. The subject of this clause is kaisha, is the company that's making something in the factory. And we haven't been introduced to the fact there's a factory at all yet. This is a terribly worded question. There should be a passive here. Koju de nani ga tsukurareteru toki ni kengaku shimasu ka? But even then, this guy, the word kaisha, terribly written question. I would put, if this is a real JLPT test, I petition them to change this. That's terribly written. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. Like, subscribe, share, and appreciate the take I take on this. Peema-kun, thank you. Peema-kun, it's probably Peema, just E's in Japanese are es, so I'm a little bit confused. But P-E-E in English is definitely a P sound, so maybe it's Peema-kun. You comment in the section. What's the origin of that name? So the answer is it's not juice. It's going to be ice cream. We're going to watch them make ice cream. Hey guys, let's watch ice cream. And then they will be able to get a cookie in the end, but the answer is 2, ice cream. And then we're going to do one more listen through without me chatting over it and breathing. So let's do that.
2番、
教室で先生が学生に話しています。学生は工場で何を作っているときに見学をしますか？
来週はクラスで工場の見学に行きます。ジュースで有名な会社の工場ですが、アイスクリームやキャンディー、それからクッキーも作っているんですよ。本当はジュースを作るときに見学したかったんですが、来週はジュースは作られていないそうなので、皆さんはアイスクリームを見ることになりました。見学の後、クッキーのお土産がもらえるそうです。
学生は工場で何を作っているときに見学をしますか？
Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.